Hello, and thank you for your interest in the Accounts Commission's 2021 Local Government in Scotland Overview Report. My name is Sophie Flemig, and I've been a member of the Accounts Commission since 2015. I would like to tell you more about our reporting on the impact of Covid-19 on communities and people. The last year has been incredibly hard for all of us, in similar and in very different ways. I found it difficult too. I was trying to homeschool while working, trying to be there for my family and staff, and feeling rather inadequate most of the time. But our overview report shows that the pandemic affected the most vulnerable far more than those like myself who already enjoyed more privileged lives. With many industries having to shut down, unemployment has risen, and many more individuals and families are facing an uncertain future. Retail, hospitality, tourism, and the creative industries have been the worst affected, and workers in these industries were already often among the lowest paid. Young people, women, those with disabilities, and minority groups were hit particularly hard. Children and young people were often not heard, from the lack of baby and toddler groups to nursery and school closures and the challenges of home learning. The pandemic has highlighted that much more needs to be done to really listen to children and young people, and to make Scotland the best place to grow up and learn. Poverty stands out as a driver for health inequalities too, with those living in areas described as having high deprivation being twice as likely to die from Covid-19. Digital exclusion has been exacerbated during a time when the internet was often the only way to connect to family and friends and to learn, as well as often the easiest and safest way to shop. New vulnerabilities have arisen, while existing inequalities have become more noticeable, in particular for those with caring responsibilities and those being cared for. We found that carers who lacked access to respite care, people with learning disabilities who were unable to access critical services and support, those receiving care at home, and school children whose education was disrupted were most affected. Inequalities have been and continue to be a key priority for the Commission's work, and we will follow Council's responses closely beyond this overview report. This local government overview report is the first in a series of reports that will reflect the challenging and long-term nature of the impact of Covid-19. In our 2021 report, we consider the initial response phase of the pandemic from March 2020. The next report will look at a more detailed analysis of the impact of the pandemic and lessons learned from it, including an assessment of progress being made in early phases of the recovery in 2022. We will also cover further progress with renewal and recovery, on which we will report in 2023. Local government has been at the front line of the Covid-19 response and often reacted in innovative ways. The rapid response to housing the homeless has been unprecedented, and together with the Scottish Government and the voluntary sector, councils have been trying to minimise the effects of digital exclusion through their Connecting Scotland initiative. These challenges, the new ones and those already deeply embedded, will persist for years, and councils need to continue to address them. The Convention of Scottish Local Authorities, COSLA, has prepared a plan for how councils can overcome inequalities. Our report finds that solutions that tackle inequalities need to be adaptable and ensure that services are reaching communities in the right way. There are early signs of the kind of innovative thinking that is necessary, but we don't yet know what progress and impact has been made. One thing is clear though, communities need to be at the heart of the recovery. They have been critical in supporting councils to respond to the pandemic. Councils that already had close and trusted relationships with their local communities were able to respond quicker and in more coordinated and targeted ways, for example through community hubs. The urgency of the pandemic meant that there were reduced levels of governance and decision-making procedures for communities to take charge and respond to the crisis. Councils need to continue to break down barriers to participation. They also need to create more streamlined processes to allow communities to be empowered and enable them to drive their own well-being in future. This is at the heart of community empowerment, another key priority for us as a Commission. My colleagues will take you through the remaining parts of our overview report, and you can find much more information on our website. Thank you for your time. and see you soon.